Good morning and welcome once again to our online classes. As up to now we have seen that the story of Sahib Alam and the remaining portion of this story of Sahib Alam, we are going to discuss it with you now. Now Anis Jung goes to Simapuri, and this place Simapuri is at the periphery, at the end of Delhi. Metaphorically, it is far from Delhi. So these 10,000 replicas, they used to live in those difficult conditions, and their houses were poorly built, and their houses were sort of shanty, and those houses were made up of roofs of tin and tarpaulin. And when Anis Jung talked to some of the group of women, and these women replied to Anis Jung that survival at Simapuri means rag picking. So rag picking is the only means of survival at Simapuri. So one day Anis Jung saw this boy once again, Sahib Alam replied to Anis Jung, and she said that sometimes I find a rupee or a rupee of coin and 10 rupee coin. Sometimes I used to find out in the garbage dumps or garbage heaps. So he was fortunate, he was excited every day whenever he used to go to that rag picking, and whenever he could find 1 rupee coin or a 10 rupee coin out of those garbage dumps and garbage heaps. So one day, Anis Jung once again, she saw that the boy and Sahib Alam, he was watching this game of lawn tennis, and he was standing at the fence of the lawn tennis, at the gate of the lawn tennis, and he was standing at there, and he was waiting so that the people, they might go from that place, and the gatekeeper must allow him to go and use the swing. And one day, at that same day, Anis Jung saw this boy Sahib Alam. He was wearing pair of tennis shoes, white colored tennis shoes, and those shoes were those of discarded shoes of some rich boy who has now refused to give or refused to have those shoes, because those shoes were completely torn or damaged. Now one day, Anis Jung, she saw Sahib Alam. He was not having that bag in his shoulders. He was not having bag in his shoulder. He was having heavy canisters, or he was walking in the direction of milk booth. Now he works at tea stall. And that tea stall owner used to give him 800 rupees per month, and all his meals. And ultimately, when Anis Jung saw this boy, that boy lost all senses. He has lost all senses. His carefree look has been lost completely. And why he has lost his carefree look? He lost that carefree look because now he is no longer his own master. Whenever he used to go for rag picking, he used to enjoy that rag picking. But right now, for him, rag picking gives no enjoyment to him, because that steel canister seems heavy. And this boy Sahib Alam, he used to carry that rag pick easily, but that steel canister was quite heavy for him to career, and finally he has lost his carefree look. And ultimately, what happens? This boy, this child, he has lost his carefree look, and his carefree look is only because of poverty, because of burden, because of his burden of his small age or tender age. So up to now we have seen this story of Sahib-e-Alam, and the second story of Mukesh. The second story is about of a boy Mukesh who works as a in a bangle making industry, who is a labor, works in a bangle making industry. But there is a contrast between these two stories. The first story of Sahib-e-Alam shows us the negativity and the burden of poverty, because of which these children, they are crippled, and their childhood is crushed completely. But second story, the story is of a Mukesh, is of a boy whose name is Mukesh, and he is having dreams in his eyes. And what dreams he is having in his eyes? The dreams to become a motor mechanic one day. So that is a positive story about this Mukesh. And Sahib-e-Alam, story of Sahib-e-Alam is some sort of a negative, having a negative ending. So up to now, the second story of Mukesh, we shall discuss it in the second session. And till then, thank you, goodbye.